Alright, a little update on the story grid process of my current book running from Illumia, which is book 2 in a series, which I don't know if that changes anybody's opinion on anything, but you still kind of have to go through the same process, I think, because it's still a story within a story kind of a thing. So, book 2, I've been going through, and it's been a little bit slow going, but we're making some progress here. I've gotten up through chapter 11 so far. Some things that I've picked up from the story grid listening to the podcast. This is your scene by scene, negative, positive stuff, and the value shift. The value shift is going to turn around the turning point, which I should have picked this up earlier. The turning point, which is either an action or a revelation. Something they do changes the course of the story, or something that's revealed to them changes what's going to happen or how they view things. So I'm still a little muddy on that, but that's a little bit clearer. And the polarity shift is based on the turning point. So, like in this one, Gander finds out he's going to go with Estrella on this tour, and he has, and actually I think this is an action because he has a decision to make, or maybe it's not. Because they said decisions don't necessarily have a polarity shift, because it is not, a decision isn't necessarily good or bad. So this is probably more a decision. I don't know if I spelled that right. Okay, but anyways, a decision rather than a revelation or action that turns the course of the story. But the thing that I thought was interesting is they said when you come over to the Fool's Cap, you've got these internal and external changes, right? And in the beginning hook, I'm starting with a friendship, an unlikely friendship that turns to parting. This is I don't know if that's really a good summarization of things, but that's kind of the overall what's happening externally, I believe. And then internally, Estrella's going acceptance stems from others to despair that she'll ever be accepted, kind of a thing. And so these things are going to have a positive and negative charge that may be different from your actual polarity shift scene changes. Those will go up and down because you want that that back and forth of good and bad, kind of driving the story forward. But you want overall the arc to move your person from one point to another. And so in this case, Estrella is going to be moving from trying to fit into self-confidence, which is something that didn't quite happen in book 1. It didn't quite happen in book 1. That was my daughter. This didn't quite happen in book 1 because I wanted Estrella's journey. She had a lot to cope with in book 1, learning out that she wasn't really what she thought she was. So she was dealing with this a little bit, but this book is really her coming to maturation. Whereas book 3, I feel is more. She's using that maturation to slay the monster, slay the beast, I guess, and change the world. And book 3 is actually going to focus more on Gander's maturation process, because he's got an addiction that he has to overcome, which, whew, I am a little nervous about that. But okay. Oh. Didn't fill out that stuff. Okay, so this is where you can go through and put where where these different things occur: the inciting incident, complication, crisis, climax, and resolution. Resolution doesn't necessarily mean that something resolves. It just means that this is the result of actions. This moves them on to the next part of the story until the very end, where the resolution hopefully somewhat resolves at least the overarching story. Let's see if there's anything else that I can add to this that I found helpful. Oh yeah, so although Estrella is going from acceptance stems from others to despair, this is actually her going from a negative to just a negative, because her internal charge is going to be moving up, because she is becoming more mature in realizing that where her self-confidence should come from. And so that was one thing that I found interesting when listening to the story grid, is that your internal charge, your polarity shift is going to be different from scene to scene, but you're going to have an overarching one that may look different, because you're looking at the Fool's Cap from the global story point of view, and what you want your characters to learn and go through and to become. So I thought that was interesting. I thought I'd add that. The other thing I'm finding is, as I'm going through this, I've had to delete a few things. I had some recurring I had some recurring things here, where she was talking to Sylvia, she was talking to Sylvia, she was talking to Sylvia. She was trying to beg for Shia to stay, kind of thing. And so, looking at the story event, I realized that she was doing a lot. I realized that she was talking to Sylvia a lot and not getting anywhere. So I wanted to kind of cinch that up. And the other thing that I realized is I had a lot of things that happened in the same places. So this one right here, I'm going to have Gander talk to Estrella. I was having up here in 14, Estrella telling Shia what's going on and stuff. But I think I've dealt with that in the previous chapters, because that felt like another thing. So I'm probably going to end up deleting that one too. But this one, I'm moving where the scene actually takes place. Gander talking to Estrella, because I realized that one thing that would make the scene very poignant is if she revisited the place that where her powers kind of went berserk, and she broke the Solution. So, well, dang. Yeah, see, that was a really short chapter, and it really just didn't do anything. And so by moving it to where she broke the Solution and seeing it in ruins still, and she's questioning everything, it's going to make this scene a lot stronger. I'm gonna take this part where Estrella is telling Shia the bad news, and probably move some stuff around so that this actually turns into a chapter instead of being just a little chunk here, because I think that was actually just a break scene, but there wasn't anything happening there. So that's all. I'll leave y'all with that, but if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm still muddling through all of this, but I feel like I'm getting closer. I'm finally getting past the beginning hook and moving into the middle build, and hopefully I'll be able to keep the momentum going. Alright, thanks.